welcome back. I am filming for the first time in 2025. This has been a bit of a struggle for me. Is anybody else feeling that 2025 lethargy? After doing very little over the holidays, I'm finding it very challenging getting back into the swing of things, hence why there was only one video last week, because quite frankly, I just didn't film. So I thought I would take a little bit of caffeine for the girl who never has caffeine in my life other than the caffeine in chocolate, which I have had plenty of over Christmas. We're living life on the edge today. Anything could happen. I'm sort of buzzing a little bit. So we are going to be trying some new products today. I have products from Hourglass, Lisa Eldridge, Natasha Denona, who's this from? Benefit, and also a new one to me, What's Up Beauty. So let's get straight on with it. Firstly, before we dive into the new products, I am going to be changing the brown background very, very shortly. I'm not sure what colour it's going to be changing to yet, but the brown was only supposed to be for the autumnal vibes, and it's lingered, and it's still here in January 2025. So, you know, put your opinions in the comment section. I was thinking maybe black would make me stand out a little bit more and go with the cushions behind me as well, and maybe we could bring in a few more plants and elements of green. Anyway, I don't know, but yeah, let me know your thoughts. Also, please don't leave this video today without hitting the like button, the subscribe button, and the notification bell. Let's start 2025 as we mean to go on. Following me, everybody. I picked up 2 shades of the Lisa Eldridge Pinpoint Concealer Micro Correcting Pencils. I have them in the shade 4 and the shade 5. I believe 4 will be my perfect tone, but I wanted to get my skin tone properly matched because this is supposed to be not a brightening pencil. This is supposed to be blended into your natural skin tone. So you can use these on bare skin, but you can also use these when you have your foundation on or underneath foundation. They're supposed to not budge. So we're going to test that out today. And I thought I'd do this first. It is not my usual go-to, but as you're supposed to use these on bare skin, and as I have some sugar spots from the copious amounts of chocolate that I have been throwing in my face over Christmas, I thought we'd try this out. So this is the shade 4, and I've also got the shade 5. Very, very similar shades, but the shade 5 has a warmer undertone than the shade 4, which is more neutral. I think I'm going to go with the shade 4 because I think that will blend beautifully into my skin tone. So you're supposed to use this with a really light hand. You're not supposed to dot this on because it's going to have a really hard edge if you just cover with a circle like I'm going to do now. I do have a slight bit of crustiness on the top of this spot. So this is how you're not supposed to apply it. You're not supposed to just cover it over and leave it because it's noticeable applying it in that way. So I'm just going to pat that out with my finger. Let's move on to this side here, and I'll show you how Lisa showed us how to apply it on her video, and I will link that in the description box below. So she just very, very lightly went over the dark spot and then sort of blended out the edges, and then added a tiny bit more where it's needed. And then you let this dry down, and then it doesn't budge throughout the day. And I had these swatches on the back of my hand yesterday, and honestly, they would last me through a bath. They really would. Unless I went in with a cleanser, they would still be on. So definitely budge proof in my experience, but there is workability within this. So it doesn't dry down immediately. You have time, which is also what I love about this. So you can quite easily dispense more product just by spinning the bottom of the pencil. So I think that's absolutely lovely. You don't even need a sharpener for this. I really like that. It is a little bit light maybe for my skin tone. So let's try the shade 5. Lisa is the shade 5. So let's just see if this is a better match for me. I am more neutral usually, so, but neutral, more dominant, warm, rather than neutral, more dominant, cool. I actually think that's a better match for me, which has surprised me. So I do have a little bit of crustiness on a couple of these blemishes, and the product is clinging to that crustiness. So I would have thought this would be better on those dark spots, like age spots, and also to cover up any pigmentation around the corners of the nose. But you do have to use a very, very light hand with this. You don't need to go in too heavy-handed, otherwise you'll pop too much product on the skin and then it'll look unnatural. And the whole purpose of this is natural skin. I mean, look at that. It looks so much better already. Let's just see how this applies underneath. I want to make sure that this doesn't drag the skin, which I can confirm it does not do if you use a light hand. So I'm literally just dabbing this on. Now, it's not covering over all the secrets in my soul, but I wouldn't expect it to. Again, this is a pinpoint concealer. This really isn't for this, and it can be used for underneath the eyes just to brighten everything up a little bit and make me look more awake. Would I use it like this on a daily basis? No, but it does work, so if you do want to use it, you definitely could do. But my skin is looking more even and I've hardly got any product on my skin whatsoever. Let's talk about the Benefit Mighty Fine Brown Pen. This is... It looks a little bit like some of the old brow pens that you used to get. So it's got 3 prongs on the end, but let me tell you, these definitely suit the name of this product. They are ultra fine. So not only that, they're slightly further apart than a lot of other brow pens with 3 prongs. So it's much easier to turn this on its edge and only use one of the prongs rather than using all 3 at one time. But if you want to use all 3, you can definitely do that. So line it up where you want the hairs to start and just draw them on with a very, very light hand. And it is super quick, a lot quicker than using a regular brow pen with just 1 prong on there, because obviously you're getting 3 hairs for the price of 1. Look at that. It still looks supernatural. It still looks really quite fluffy. They're not 100% in place like they would be if I was using an individual brow pen, but I really like that. I really do. I'm still finding it takes a little longer to do the wing of my brow because I'm still not used to the 3 prongs yet. So I find it easier to use just one individual pen on this area, but I will get faster over time. I have to say though that the front of my brow takes milliseconds. I've gone for the shade 3.5, which is neutral medium brown, and it's definitely the right shade for me. So if you are my shade twin, 3.5 neutral medium brown is the one to go for, and love it. I hardly wore makeup at all over Christmas, so it's a real treat to be applying a full face today, a proper full face of makeup. I'm going to reach for the Natasha Denona Mini Eye Sculpt palette, which is the palette of my dreams. This is the palette that I have been hoping for the longest time from Natasha Denona. See if we can use this quite quickly today. Going into one of the lightest shades and just buffing that slightly above the crease because I do like a more lifted look as I get a little bit older. Pop that on to create a bit of dimension on that outer edge, then dip into the deeper shade, and I'm going to mix the two together and just add a little bit more of that to add a little bit more depth again. Take that down the outer corner. Then I'm going to take this light shade and buff around the edges to create more of a seamless blend and really lift underneath that brow. Give it a little bit of light under there Again, just buff, 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 very, very gently, not pulling on the skin at all. Then I'm going to take a slightly deeper shade just to add a bit more dimension to that outer corner, just dabbing that on very, very gently. So I'm going to take this lighter shade on the same brush, don't need multiple brushes for this, and just lay that down all over the lid and really melt those two tones in together. I'm actually going to mix these two together. So the deepest brown with the black shade. And I'm just going to create a wing. Take this mid shade, knock off the excess, and just blend that all together just to create a little bit of a smokier effect. There is zero wrong with this palette. Any skin tone would be able to use this, whether you've got a deep skin tone or whether you've got a super fair skin tone like me. Every single shade is wearable. Look at both eyes completed. I love this palette. It has not disappointed. These shadows are smoothing, they are creamy, they are soft, they are easy to blend, and the shades are perfect. I wouldn't have done anything differently if I'd have designed this myself. Gorgeous. Let's try the Hourglass Illusion Luminous Glow Foundation. This has a broad spectrum of SPF 30, and if this delivers everything it says it's going to, this may be a winner. So let me just have a look at the website and just let you know what this is all about. So it says, say hello to Hourglass Illusion Luminous Glow Foundation SPF 30, the ultimate multitasker your skin will love. Well, we'll see. This all-in-one wonder boasts the power of broad-spectrum sunscreen to shield your skin from damaging UVA and UVB rays. Then, acting as a foundation, its ultra-creamy texture melts effortlessly into your skin, blurring texture, evening tone, and leaving your complexion looking healthy and dewy. Dewy? Not quite sure. If that wasn't enough, it's also infused with the brand's advanced Hydra smoothing technology to intensely hydrate while visibly reducing fine lines and wrinkles. This is set to be your protective glow too. Very clever. See what they did there? Let me just be the party pooper right now, which you all know I'm going to be, but you know, I don't want to disappoint. This is not to be used as your standalone SPF protection. This has SPF 30 in here if you apply the correct amount. And if you apply the correct amount, you're going to look ridiculous. So you're not going to apply as much as you need to get the SPF 30. It's going to be considerably less. And when I say considerably less, I mean probably 5 or 6 at a push. So apply your standalone SPF just to make sure that your skin is protected before you apply this. This is a great product to add on top, a little bit of a topper, a little bit of extra protection, if you will. But yeah, I would not be using this as my only protection. I really like the packaging of this. I think it's really well thought out, very well designed. It's beautiful to begin with, but it's got a squeezy tube on the end, which is incredibly easy to dispense the right amount of foundation. You can be quite precise with the amount of foundation that you dispense onto the back of your hand or onto a palette or straight onto the face. I also like the fact that you've got a little window to see the shade that you've ordered. The consistency of this foundation is really quite thick, which shocked me a little bit, but it does loosen off slightly when it hits the warmth of the skin, and it blends beautifully. This is effortless to blend. It does sink into the skin just like it said it would, which I'm really impressed with. There is a slight bit of tackiness on the surface of my skin still present. I'm going to powder this in place to see whether that tackiness subsides a little bit, but I do like the overall sheen on the surface of the skin. This is glow without looking sweaty in any way, but I'm on the cusp. You know, this is as much glow as I think my skin can actually take, and it's definitely not blurring or diffusing on my imperfections at all. And I would say this is going to give you a little bit of flashback. I can't say that for definite. I will test it out a little bit later and put a comment at the top of the comment section just letting you know. But it does look deeper in my mirror than it looks on the monitor. So this does feel maybe not like a foundation, but it feels like I've got a really heavy, rich, thick, creamy moisturizer on my skin, which I'm not used to that feeling in the daytime. I'm used to it in the evening when I do my evening skincare routine. So I can definitely feel it on my skin, but I'm not opposed to that. So take that as you will. You know your preferences. If you don't like to feel a product on your skin, you're not going to like this, because I can definitely feel it. But I do love the sheen. I think it's really flattering. Whether it will stay that way throughout the day, I don't know, but I will add this into my foundation roundup, where I'm also going to be reviewing the brand new Dior Forever Hydra Nude. I have that in my possession. I also have the One Size Turn Up the Base Full Beat liquid foundation, and a couple of others as well to add to that review, so stay tuned. I've powdered the foundation down. It is tackiness free now, so the powder definitely worked. And at the beginning of this video, I forgot to say that I'd picked up a couple of the new Dior bronzers. I did not have very much luck with the last Dior bronzers. They looked horrific, and they featured in my worst products of 2024 video. If you haven't seen that video already, I'll link it up here for you. But just on opening these and the swatches on the website, I knew I was going to have more luck, because these look more neutral, and in fact, in this instance, looks slightly pinkier in undertone. So I am rejoicing, but I've picked up two different shades. We've got 02 Light and 03 Soft Matte. There are two finishes that you can choose from on the Dior website. One is a slight radiant one, and when I say slight, I really do mean slight. It's more of a soft matte with a hint of radiance. The other one is just pure soft matte with no radiance. So I thought I'd pick up one of each. So the shade 02 has some slight radiance to it. Not that you would notice when you open it. It does look slightly matte, but with a hint of fleck. And then the shade 3 is the soft matte. So no fleck whatsoever in there. So I'm going to use both of these to show you the difference. So I'm going to go into shade 2. These are really quite hard pressed, but if you swirl, there is a little bit of kickback in the pan, so it's unnecessary. So I'm just going to pop this around the perimeter of my forehead. In the winter months, this is going to be the shade that's just going to give me that little bit of dimension, and I can pack this on. I can be a little bit more heavy-handed with this product and not be frightened with the colour payoff. So I do like that about this. It's slightly more yellowy neutral in undertone, but I like it. So let's pop a little bit on the cheeks. Look at that, that's beautiful, and I've really gone in with my brush there. So let's try shade 3, which is the matte shade. Again, I'm just gonna dust off my brush, and then go into shade 3 and see what the difference is. You can see the slight luminosity that this gives. There's a little bit more glow in shade 2, whereas shade 3 is more matte. And for my skin tone, this is definitely a summer tone. This is not one that I could get away with, so to say, in those winter months, because it's a little bit too deep for my complexion. The formula is beautiful. It's very soft. It's actually quite hard pressed in the pan, and it looks like you're not going to pick up a lot of pigment. It is that hard pressed, but it's very deceiving. So I really, really like this. Look at that. Shade 2, shade 3. I mean, I could get away with both, but at the moment, shade 2 with that luminosity when my skin is really dull and lifeless in those winter months, definitely my favorite. And then in summer, Hello Bronze. Added a little bit of lipstick. I will list all of the products that I've used on my entire face in the description box for anybody. If you've not seen what I've applied to my skin, if I've done it off camera, you'll find it all in the description box. We're going to move on to blush and finish off this look. This is a new company to me. It's What's Up Beauty. This could either be a triumph or a disaster. I don't think there's anything in between for me. So I'm already hesitant to apply this to my skin. This is the colour that this says it's going to be. So I'm going to go for a really quite an orangey tone. This is the shade 40, Gentle Genova. This is the packaging of this product. I don't think it could be any more disgusting if I tried. I hate this. I'm going to tell you why I'm hesitant. One, the packaging. I mean, it's nice chunky packaging. You do get a mirror in there, so it's nicely designed packaging, but what is up with this colour? Again, this is the shade 40, Gentle Genova. It's supposed to be this shade. So, when has this ever been that shade? I mean, it looks quite greyish in here, and all the shades look like that. So I do like the fact that this is more of a marbly effect, but I'm gonna dip into that. I'm just gonna pad that on the back of my hand. Nothing comes off, so that tells me I can be a little bit more vigorous with how I apply this. Okay, so I'm completely wrong. Completely wrong. That happens quite a bit. I was actually going to say that doesn't happen often, but actually, upon thinking about that statement before it was made, I corrected myself before it came out. It does happen quite a bit, but I really like that. And how did that happen? From this to this, which is this. Look at all of these products melted together. They look stunning. And there isn't one disappointment, which is very unusual for me. Usually there's one product that has a disappointing blend, or maybe it's a little chunkier or a little bit more powdery than I was envisaging, and total letdown. Zero. In this video, I've loved absolutely everything. All these products are beginner friendly, very, very easy to apply, super easy to blend out, and they just melt into one. I love the foundation, I love the bronzers, I love the blush, I love the eyeshadow, I love the Lisa Eldridge Pinpoint Concealer, although I wouldn't use it in the way that I have done today with layering other things over the top of it. You can do that, you most definitely can do that, and it still worked, but this for me would be on no makeup days where I just want to cover over a little bit of discoloration. I'm hoping that she's going to bring out a cream concealer and also a liquid concealer, so we will watch this space and wait in anticipation. I've loved the whole lot. The whole lot. Usually I would pick a favorite product that I've used in a video. I can't do that today. I am totally torn, so I will let you be the judge. Which one do you think, if you could only pick one product for me, which one would you pick? And would you pick any of these for yourself? Let me know in the comments section. Please don't forget to like and subscribe before you leave. Happy New Year, everybody. Hope to see you all in the next one. Bye, everyone.